All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of books to show you. So I may or may not, name every book. I'm definitely not just going to do the title and then the author, because that would be a really long video. So that's what we're rolling with. Let's jump into this. These are all the books that I picked up, bought, etc. for the month of December. I didn't realize how many books I bought. It's quite the book haul. Now, some of these we have already seen. Bop, bop, bop. I think that one as well. Or maybe just me thinking I recorded a video and then never uploaded it. That's a possibility too. All right, but here we have Merlin, E.T., Conan, Coraline, The Huckleberry Finn Adventures, The Pool, Six Gun Planet, 13 Great Stories of Science Fiction, The Others, Science Fantasy. That ought to be interesting. Lore of the Witch Lord. I thought this was a standalone book, but it's just a bunch of short stories that takes place like within the same world, author world, so on and such forth. So that's what we got here. And then we're going to jump into probably the more boring part of the books that I picked up, at least for you, the viewer. And that is some non-fiction books, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if I have enough room to put everything everywhere. Fantasy Genesis, the creative game for fantasy artists. This came in a book lot. It was relatively cheap, so why not? I don't do much drawing, but I do use these kind of books for inspiration, that kind of thing. So we also have, I'm going to be learning a little bit of stuff in web development that I've never learned before, little PHP programming. I mostly am jumping into these because I am also in the month of February going to be starting a course at Cornell University for web design and web development. So I bought some books. And then, of course, the only writing nonfiction book that I managed to pick up. And then what else? So this is, I guess the author of Lemony Snicket wrote this writer's book, so I thought I would check it out. Some more books. I picked these up. I actually owned the first one. These were on eBay. I was like, that's cool. I also picked up Lloyd Alexander, The Chronicles of Pirritano. So I got the set right there. It was previously damaged. I also picked up the newer book covers to who knows if George R. R. Martin is ever going to finish this. I'm not really big on the minimalist, but this is kind of, I don't know, it's just a different art style that kind of covers the entire art, so I kind of liked these when I saw them. It took my local Barnes & Nobles quite the amount of time before they actually picked them up. We're going to jump into some audio CDs, all right? I have a CD player in my car. I do use it because, well, I don't know. I'm that old. Coraline, Earth Unaware, Touching Spirit, Bear, excuse me. I just said beer as in the alcohol rather than a bear. And of course, we got to dive in to this audiobook, which is Miss Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, cassette. Now I need to find a modern day Walkman, okay? I say modern day because, we want it to charge, that kind of thing. Here we have Hal's Moving Castle, Beasts and Beauty. And then, of course, I picked up some John Gwynne books as well. These particular three. The funny thing about these is I actually was like, oh, these are slightly spendy, So I was like, I'll get one a day. One every payday. No, in 3 days, I bought them all because I went literally to the bookstore 3 days in a row. The Spell Shop, The North is the Night. Let's get some of these older ones here. World's Best Science Fiction of 1966. Horror stories. We have 8 Tales of Terror, Edgar Allan Poe. The Infinite Moment. All Quiet on the Western Front, and Isaac Asimov, 20th Century Discovery. Here we have The Count of Monte Cristo, When the Worlds Collide, Currents of Space, Jurassic Park, The Pigman, Where the Red Fern Grows, The Odyssey. Now, this is a pretty, I think somebody got it wet and it's kind of torn, but I don't know. My grandparents got me not this exact book, but the same cover and whatnot when I was, I don't know, 14, 13, somewhere around there. I was really into reading back then, so they got it. And, well, I saw this, and it kind of reminded me of the book that I no longer had. So even though it was a little thrashed, I was like, we're gonna keep it. Let's jump into the Box of Delights, The Midnight Folk, Don't Scream. I mean, yes, that's right. I grew up reading Goosebumps. I still buy and read Goosebumps because call me weird, whatever, don't really care. And then we have, I didn't even know they had these, the sequel and the third book in the Rats of Nim book series, Rasco and the Rats of Nim. And then we have R.T. Margit and the Rats of Nim. This is, from what I gather, is his daughters who wrote these. This one is the one that is liked the most. People don't really seem to like the third one because it introduces a human child. And just from that description, I could see why that would be problematic. We don't need humans in every fictional world or story. I mean, granted, in the Rats of Nim, they're there, but they're not interacting with the mouse. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Here we have Ronald Dale, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar and Six More. I do have a Ronald Dale book set over there, but it did not have this one in it. So I was like, alrighty. Iron-Hearted Violet, The Cat Who Went to Heaven. I was at Barnes & Noble's, and Jay, he's an employee there, comes up. I'm waiting to get my coffee. He comes up. He's like, hey, I have not offered to you a book to read in months, so here you go. He always happens to do this at the most inopportune time when I want to buy a book, but I don't have a lot of money. So and I don't want to, turn it down, set it down. So I feel obligated to buy it, but I did read the back of it. It did sound interesting, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to get it. I also picked up Neil Gaiman and this book collection set, which got The Graveyard, Fortunately, The Milk, and Coraline. This is a movie adaptation of Coraline that I picked up on eBay. Now, I don't consider myself a book collector, so like every book that you see, I do plan on reading. Even though technically I've already read Coraline, I will read this specific book. Granted, it's the same story, so on and such forth, but is it going to be read anytime soon? No, because I just recently read Coraline, so we're going to give it a year or so before I jump back into it. We have The Golden Key. I really liked Miss Frisbee and the Rats of Nim, so I wanted to check out some of his other books. Now, unironically, I, for some reason, bought two of the same book. I bought this older one I found on eBay, and this is the one they were releasing on Amazon at the time. And then I also picked up his The Silver Crown. Here we have some Lawrence Watt Evan books, ladies and gentlemen. In the Empire of Shadow, The Cyborg and the Sorcerers. I just realized the title of that. I wonder if this is kind of like a fantasy science fiction. And I've seen the movie. This is another thing where I saw the movie before I knew that it was even a book. And that is, of course, Flowers in the Attic. Now, Barnes & Noble's had another book, Flowers in the Attic, which I kind of like that cover a little more, but it was also more expensive. Whereas this one comes with two of them. The first one, and then, of course, the second book in the series, Petals on the Wind. Black, Trillium. We got the Phoenix Guard, 500 Years After, The Paths of the Dead. And then we have some Dragonlance books right here. I got a lot of fantasy. Told people that, like, the majority of the books I read probably are within the fantasy genre. That stack is not falling, but it is leaning now. And I unironically picked up the hardback to The Golden Key as well. And then I have this, The Fall of Neskya. So this was in the school library. It was in the free area. They don't want it. That's why it's marked out, that kind of thing. Okay. They had other books there that actually had a stamp on it. Discarded, I believe, is what the stamp iterated. The only reason why I picked this up, because they did have other fantasy books, is because, well, this is book one. And I'm like, all right, I'll read it. If I enjoy it, I'll pick the other ones up. If not, then I'll give it to Goodwill or something. I'm running out of space, ladies and gentlemen. We got The Greenhouse. We got a Terry Pratchett, The Slip of the Key, The Rhymnist by Brandon Sanderson. This is not new. I've actually owned that for quite some time. It's just accidentally mixed in with everything. We have The Finders Keepers, Goosebumps, The House of the Shivers. This is his newest Goosebumps series, The Last Sleepover. House of the Shivers, not The Last of the Sleepovers. Miss Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. I read this. The Never-Ending Story. I read that for the month of December as well. You don't often walk into a bookstore and actually see a zombie novel. I've actually looked. So, unless they're popular, I don't read a lot of, I'll admit this, indie zombie stories, because I've read them and, well, let's just say they don't appeal to me, all right? We're getting down to the wire, ladies and gentlemen. We got Aragon, the Crestomancy Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. And then we are coming into the last four. We have City of Last Chances, House of the Open Wounds. When I bought this, I was like, oh my God. Clearly I've not read enough Stephen King, because this is a thick, thick boy. And then last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Dinotopia. All right, so that's going to do it for all the books that I bought in the month of December. I do believe there's probably about 5 or 6 books somewhere in that mix that I actually picked up in November, but that's neither here nor there. Semantics, technicalities. I will be house sitting for my uncle. I have a cousin, going to have a baby, and he wants to be there with his wife. So my uncle decided he's going to go up, watch their kids so he can be with her. I'm house sitting. He left last night. I'm going there tonight. Normally, I take like my PlayStation 5 and that kind of thing to watch movies and play video games. It's the perfect time to go there and unironically read books and do some writing. So I'm not even bringing my PlayStation 5. I will be bringing some movies and a Blu-ray player just to kind of give myself a break from reading and writing. But that is my ultimate goal for the house sitting. I hope to see you in the next video, which again, I will be recording that video right after this one and scheduling it out 3 or 4 days after this one. I'll see you in the next one.